beaten fighters Michelle Rivera and Frank the Ghost Martin. I tell you what, the Ghost dropped Rivera there in the 7th round with that left hand right hook.
Yep, you know what time it is, man. This is, of course, your favorite channel, man, CTB. Just Chance Up Boxing. I'm your boy, Jay Slay. So what up to him, man?
What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in.
Most definitely. This is sort of a fight review mixed with a chin check, man. So it's going to be a compilation video. It was a great fight, man. We didn't make a video about the fight, but we have talked about the fight behind the scenes for Frank Martin and Ali. Man, the young guns showed out, man. It seemed like one guy was just on another level, man. It seems like the one guy he had better fast twitchies, he had better fundamentals. Really, man, just the speed advantage was very, very paramount in that fight, man. It was all around great performance by Frank Martin, man. Before we start chopping up the fight, man, what was your thoughts about the young bull Frank Martin, man, and the dominating performance against Ali?
He showed out. He showed that he's ready to step up in competition. This was a big step up fight for both of these guys. I commend both of them for being able to get in the ring. Young guys coming up, and they put a lot on the line because, for Martin, this is going to catapult him to the next level as far as his competition and the fights he can get. And for Ali, even though he lost, I think he still can come back. You know what I'm saying? I think in the boxing community, we got guys that take chances. We shouldn't penalize them and just look at them as trash or they done. Or they can come back and and reinvent themselves and be contenders and win championship. And I think if we get that throughout the whole boxing community, I think more people will take chances. But I thought Frank Martin overall, man, I thought he was great, man. He showed a lot of more dimensions to his game that I didn't know he had. You know what I'm saying? I thought his counter punch was on point. I thought he was faster, like you said, the twitch. Every time he turned them, he kept catching them with the straight left. And it seemed like Ali didn't really have a response, man. It seemed like once he had to go to plan B and C, he seemed lost. He seemed like he didn't have a backup plan. So once it wasn't working, he seemed to be a little bit less. I guess he didn't want to really try to punch between the counter punching. It's like he became a little hesitant because of him. He kept getting caught the first 5 or 6 rounds, and after that, I guess Frank Martin realized, he had it in the bag. He tried to step on the gas a couple times, which I did like, but once he realized he couldn't get him out of there, he just went on and got the decision.
Yeah, I agree with all of that, man. He especially the punches in between punches. Ali got shell shock, man. Not only with the power of Frank Martin, but the speed, man. It seemed like he was slow on every punch. It's like he'd throw one punch, Frank Martin hit him with 2. It was just dead apparent on the speed advantage, man. You told me in the text message, which I agree with also, that they didn't have a plan B. It seemed like they only had one plan in there to combat Frank Martin. They only had one main goal. That was to land big right hands and land big shots. But it seemed like, man, it's kind of, we should be used to it now at this point when it comes to Derrick James, man. Derrick James seems to how he's got his fighters ready, man. No matter who they fight, he has a game plan laid. And they just knew what Ali was going to do, man. And they knew him up and down and was ready for him. I was very surprised on how easily he made it look. I'm going to be honest. I honestly thought that this fight was going to be a lot closer. I thought this fight was going to be... I thought Frank Martin was going to win. I did think he was going to win slightly. But I thought this fight was going to be a test for him, per se. But I didn't really learn anything about him. New, to be honest. I mean, like you said, it was a good step up for him. I agree. It was a great step up for both of these guys. And like you said, this is no knock on Ali. He lost to a great fighter tonight. This won his night that night. I'm pretty sure he can build his name back because he's a great fighter. He's a young, good prospect himself. But Frank Martin is on another level, man. And this going to drive the next question, man. Since he made the fight look so easy, do you think he's ready for the next level at that? Or do you think he should go in there and fight somebody like a Chris Colbert level before he step up to the upper echelons? Because it's rumors is now that Shakur Stevenson told Errol Spence to send that contract. He ready for that fight. So 2 questions. Do you think that Errol Spence and company they make that fight happen, man? They kind of rushing the young bull. Do you think they make that fight happen by keeping them moving, keeping them motivated, or do you think they take a Chris Colbert type level fight first?
I think they do what everybody else been doing in boxing. You attach your name to certain fighters, but you don't really fight them yet. But because of you having that name attached to you, it makes you more, your popularity will catapult and more people.
But who's attaching the name to who? I think Shakur Stevenson has his own name. I don't think he would have to attach his name to Frank Martin.
I ain't talking about Shakur Stevenson. I'm talking about Frank Martin. Every time Frank Martin fight now, it's gonna be the Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Tank Davis questions. Every time he fight, so to me, he needs to. Even though I think he can be competitive in those fights, I still think he needs to take another slight step up. And like you said, a Chris Colbert, a Rolly, Eastside Cruz in that range, which are tough fights. They are not, he really gonna be pushed in those fights. But I would like to see him fight one of those type of guys. And then if he gets past those guys, then I think at that point it's time to let the leash off and let him fight against the Shakur Stevenson. I mean, of course, we know the politics in boxing. Some of the fights are hard to make. But I would like to see him against, if he get one more of those fights against Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, Tank Davis, Lomachenko. I can't see that happening. But one of those big names at 135. But I like to see him fight one more fight at a slightly notch up from the fight he had tonight before I see him in there with the big dogs at 135.